All right, greetings, class, and welcome to week number 6. That is right, week number 6 of your reference class 7314. As always, I am your professor, Dr. J.S.K. Alston. And what we are going to do this week is we're going to have a quick state of the course update, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a very quick and superficial introduction to the Gale Legal Forms database. Specifically, because I'm based in Missouri, I'm going to use the Missouri version of this. However, Gale, I believe, has a version of this in all 50 states. So just because I'm going over a Missouri version of it today does not mean that you do not have a version of this for your state. You probably do. And if you need some help finding that, contact your local library. Now, this is something that I'm going to access through a local public library, not through an academic library, not through Mizzou, in other words. So it's not something that you're going to find on Mizzou's database list if you try to go down the database list and find it there. It's not going to be there because Mizzou does not subscribe to it. However, most public libraries in the state of Missouri, I believe, do have the Legal Forms database. And I do believe, again, as I said, that that Gale has a Legal Forms database for all 50 states, and that you can probably contact your own particular public library to get the version of this Gale Legal Forms database that is applicable or relevant to your state. So, having said that, let's go ahead and get into those state of the course updates. The first thing is first, I am currently in the process of grading your virtual reference practice papers. So far, so good. I'm about a third of the way done, give or take. Those of you who are still waiting for your grades, I am hoping to have all of those graded out by the end of the week. But when I say the end of the week, what I mean is the beginning of next week. So by Monday, I'm hoping to have the rest of those graded. It depends on how busy my weekend goes, of course. And when you have little ones, you just never know. And I've got a little one. By the way, check out my shirt. Straight out of the library. Just wanted you all to see that. Okay. So yes, that is the most important thing to know at the moment, is that I am still in the process of grading those, but I will try to have those graded soon. The next most important thing for you all to know in the state of the course update is that the discussion board prompt that is due this weekend, discussion board, I think number 5. This is going to be the last one until April. Number 6 isn't due until April the 3rd. So if you have not started on your semester-long project, now that you're not going to have discussion boards to do in March, that is a good time to start. You do not want to get caught at the end of the course trying to do that assignment. Some people have told me it's taken them between 20 and 40 hours. I do not want you all to just get hit with that much work at the end of the course, okay? So be working on that semester-long project throughout the course of the semester, and that way you won't have any unpleasant surprises at the end of the semester. Now, we also, as you all know, February is a bit of a shorter month. We are going to have another synced session here very soon. It'll be in about 2 weeks, actually. So in about 2 weeks, we will have some librarians from UMSL, the University of Missouri in St. Louis, and they will be talking about OERs and government docs librarianship and some other things to kind of supplement the course material there. So we do have that to look forward to. And then on March the 19th, that is when your Wikipedia edit assignment will be due. So we'll talk about that a little later. What I'm planning to do actually is to devote next week's check-in video to my Wikipedia soapboxing. I always give a spiel on Wikipedia, why it's important, librarian relationships to it, what the problems with Wikipedia are, and accuracy actually is not really one of those problems, but there are still some problems that we associate with Wikipedia, and I will, again, explain those next week. So looking forward to jumping into our Wikipedia check-in video next week, and that will contextualize that assignment so that you better understand why you are doing it. Okay, and I think that is pretty much it for state of the course updates. Yes, I think that's it for state of the course updates. So outside of that, if you have any other if you have any questions, you need to reach out to me or whatever the case may be. AustinJ@Missouri.edu, AustinJ@Missouri.edu, any place, anytime, any town. I will try to get back to you within 48 hours. But usually I am able to get back to you quicker than that. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about some legal forms here. Now, the thing with public librarianship is that a lot of times when you're working in a public library in particular, and that's where you'll usually find this legal forms database. When you are working for a public library, a lot of times the people who come into public libraries are the people who just kind of, need some help or are trying to save a buck here and there. And so a lot of times these are the people who, if they are coming into a public library, maybe they don't have the money to hire and retain a lawyer or something like that. So yeah, they are coming into the public library for their own landlord-tenant forms or for their own divorce forms or child support forms. I only worked in a public library for a year and a half. It was honestly just, it was a little too much for me, to be honest with you. I hate to admit it, but that just was what it was. I was doing social work in an inner city public library, basically. And, I enjoyed making a difference in people's lives, but I just also, I don't know. A lot of the times I either wanted to fight or I wanted to run, and those are not the emotions that you tend to want to have. But this was it was a rough public library, I will say. Well, not a rough public library, but enough happened there to where they did need security and that sort of thing. And that is the case often with public libraries in low wealth urban areas. So, having said that, what we are going to do is we are going to hop over to Mid-Continent Public Library, because that is how I actually access this form. So again, this is not a form that I access. This is not a database that I access through the University of Missouri. It's something that I have to access through a local public library, and I am going to go ahead and pause this while I get there. Okay, and so a lot of libraries do tend to have really good, really robust legal resources. So what we want to do is go to this one here. This is the one I was talking about, Gale Legal Forms. Okay, and again, we're just doing a superficial overview of this database. Again, we are in the Missouri Legal Forms database by Gale, but you can probably also find the legal forms database for your state by contacting your local public library. And if you want to get some practice with using this so that you can actually master this database, now that I've given you this superficial introduction, it is up to you to file some tutorials or to go into the database and play around with it, or whatever the case may be, so that you can become more familiar with it and learn it. And again, this particular database, I am going to let you all know, is mostly used in public librarianship, but I do think there are reasons why academic librarians, especially if you're dealing with law students, might want to be aware that it exists. So when you come into the legal forms database, you are going to default to a page that looks kind of like this. And you've got about, you've got home, you've got even these all state subscriptions. And that's something that I did want to, okay. It only gives me Missouri even after that. Okay, I actually do think that it used to be that when you would click all state subscriptions, it would list out every single state, but maybe what they're doing now is that they're not paying for the full package. Maybe they're just paying for a Missouri package, this particular library that I'm going through. And if that's the case, then that would make sense why I am not able to access all the states. But there are different categories that you can scroll down here and browse. And so you've got the main categories here. The most popular things you'll find over in this area, and I will affirm that these, in my own anecdotal experience, were the most popular databases that people were coming after. Marriage and divorce were the real big ones for when I was in public librarianship. Landlord-tenant was also a big one. You would also get some wills in estate and some other things, but really landlord-tenant and divorce, marriage, and family law, those were the big things. Those were the big guys. Okay, and then you've got all your different types of categories here. I even see landlord-tenant listed twice. But what you can do is, and then you got sample searches here and everything. So if you had a sample search of an actual issue that you're facing, then you can go, like for instance, bad checks or something like that. You can actually click that in the sample search, and you'll see the different forms that they have available that would be related to that search. probably wouldn't use it that much for bad checks, I guess. I think one thing that you're going to actually see it more often used for, even though I never did it for bill of sale auto, I do think that bill of sale auto is one of the things that when you're doing sample searches, a lot of people will come to. And so you can click that. And these are all the various forms that can be used for creating agreements based on bill of sale auto and things like that. And you can tell what the state, you can tell whether or not it is applicable to your particular state based on these call numbers here. So MO, of course, is Missouri. So when I see that, that means that these are all Missouri forms up there. And then what you have, I don't think you actually have federal forms here. It's just that if you have something that's US, then it's something that can be kind of localized to your jurisdiction, okay, or to your state. All right, and then once you find something that you like, what you can do is you can actually preview the document. So let's say, again, that I'm going to just go with, okay, bill of sale for car. I'm going to just use this US form here. And what you can do, again, you can preview the document. And if this looks like the document that you want, then you can go ahead and you can download it. And they do have English and Spanish for a lot of the US ones. I don't know about the state forms, but for the United States forms, a lot of times you can get them in English or Spanish. And you can click that download. And bada bing. You have that right there. All right. And so then all you do is you just kind of fill in the information. In this case, you would fill in the information in front of a notary. But you would fill in this information, and then it becomes, as long as both parties sign, it becomes, or, well, when you have something that requires the signing from both parties. But if you have two parties and they sign, or if you have even one party and they sign, then you have a legally binding contract there. So that is pretty much how that works. Now let's go back out here. Okay. And then what I want to do is, I showed you all the sample searches. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into the regular stuff here. So main categories, let's say that what you wanted to find one day was a, yeah, let's say that you were looking for your divorce papers and that sort of thing. You just needed your standard divorce form. What you could do is you could go into the, well, okay, that was a bad example. Actually, let me come back out. Hold on. Okay, and I say it bad example. Now the thing is, when I click this divorce and when I click this divorce, I actually get different stuff. So I probably should have just clicked this one here. But if I click this divorce option right here, now I've got a lot of content. I've actually got 109 total forms that are here. But these forms are helpful, and you actually have kind of like a little personal planning package even here, which is good. That's very helpful. And there's several forms in that. But what you can do is you can go through, you've got your main headings here. So if you are looking for information with motions and that sort of thing, or forms related to motions, you could come here, click that. Again, our two Missouri forms are at the top, and then the rest of these are forms that they have for the entire United States. Okay, but you should be able to fill them out and file them to be contractually binding within your state. But what you can do is once you, all right, so this is a motion for a family access order. This description tells you exactly what that means. Then this preview will show you the form. And again, if the form seems like it's what you need, then you can go ahead and download. In this case, we've got a PDF. But you can download, fill it out, and then you can file it with the court. And so that's how that works, okay? Now, again, if you want more information about this, by all means, please just, if you want more practice with this, by all means, find this database in your local public library, jump on, and just try to do the work yourself, try to get comfortable with it, explore it, see what it does well, see what it doesn't do well, see what its limitations are and what its features are, okay? And so, again, that's how that works. Now, what I want to do is go back out here. And I do want to say that for one thing, these are some helpful items over here, so you can get legal definitions. You can even just kind of click a letter, and you'll see a lot of things. But nonprofit school food service, you'll get some sort of legal definition. I do not at the moment recall whether or not these legal definitions are state or federal or some blend or whatever. But you do have legal definitions, and so that can be helpful because a lot of people do just use dictionary definitions, and some things have legal definitions that are different from your standard dictionary definition. Text forms, those are available here, and you can scroll down. And they're available for multiple states, I see, so that's good. And hopefully one of those states is going to be Missouri, and it is. So there you go. And you can, if you can click on one of those, even, it's going to take, for our state, it's going to take you right back out. I don't know if that's the case for every state, but that's how it works for our state. You do have attorney directories that you can look through and all of these things. So this can be all very, very helpful. And then finally, what I want to do is show you all that there is also a search feature. So we are going to, my favorite example for this would just be wedding photography. So like if you're looking for a sample contract and you don't want to just fill out a new contract, you just want a contract that you can fill in names and the contract otherwise is already created, then you can put in a search for this. And so what we have here, and again, this is going to definitely be US, this wouldn't be state specific, but agreement for wedding photography services. So I searched, I found that. This will give you a very small description. You can look at the preview. If it looks like it's something that will suit your needs, then what you can do again is go back up and download it. All right, and then all you do is you pretty much just fill out this information. You fill out this information, and then once you all come down here, 2 people sign it. And if 2 people sign it, then it is a legally binding contract, and failure to render the services as stated can result in penalties. All right, so that is, again, how this works. So that's your legal forms database. And one of the cool things about the legal forms database, honestly, is this is something that you can tell your friends about, and then they'll think you're really cool, because a lot of times I have used this to answer questions that my friends were asking on Facebook, like back when I was on Facebook. I'm not on it now, but back when I was on Facebook, I would have friends and they'd be like, okay, I need where can I get a contract for a DJ? Or where can I get this? Where can I get that? And a lot of times these would be the things that are in the legal forms database. And I would just tell them, legal forms database, go to the public library, look here, find this, get that, fill it out, and you're good to go. And so this is something that, again, might come in handy for some of you, even in your day-to-day lives. For those of you who are not married, now you already know where you can find a sample contract for wedding photography services, and you can fill out that document, fill in the blanks, and have yourself a little contract agreement and get your wedding pictures done and all of that stuff. So this is a very useful database, and I do recommend, again, you all going in if you get the opportunity and just learning how to use it and learning what's in there, okay? Because it's always very helpful to when a patron comes in and they're like, I need this. If you can say right here, I wouldn't say you've made yourself a friend because you might not want them to be friends, but you will at least have something, that you have made that person's day better. Let's leave it at that. All right, I am Dr. Jace, and for further information on how to provide good reference, just watch this space. I will be back next week. Thank you.